So I'd like to start by talking a little about what's your background, what's a favorite memory you have from playing with G.I. Joes as a kid?
Well, I used to come home every day after school, and I'm the youngest of 5 kids, so I get all the toys that my brothers and sisters had as well. We had a ton of Joes, and we'd be playing in our backyard, in the sand, in the mud, in the trees, and every time dinner time would happen, I would leave the toys where they were, and I'd start the adventure again the next day. So I'm convinced that's where I learned to love storytelling.
How did that influence what you guys did with this new movie that's out on Blu-ray?
In every single way, it influenced how we made this movie. In terms of the texture, I wanted to know that I wanted to be where I was in the sandbox, I wanted to be where I was in the trees, I wanted to be in the mud, I wanted to be in all those different environments. I was like, that's what I loved as a kid, and I loved that all my toys were scratched up, and sometimes an arm would fall off, and that made the adventure even better. So I wanted you to feel the texture in this movie, that it wasn't laser guns and spaceships, that these were real soldiers, that people that I believed and I loved. So I think it had a big effect on the tone.
And when it comes to that tone, you know, people that grew up watching the animated series, lots of bullets, no one ever got shot, killed.
Yes.
But you guys don't have a problem with killing people off.
Well, you know, we tried to make it the way we remember it as a kid. And yes, you're right, we didn't. But actually, you don't ever see a lot of people get killed in our movie. We imply it, but to get our PG-13 rating, we actually had to cut all those things. It used to be a lot more violent movie. Although on one of the exclusive Blu-rays, you'll be able to see those violent moments more. So, but yeah, I think that was an evolution of where we're at with when you bring Dwayne and Bruce and stuff. You want a little more sense of danger in it.
When it comes to G.I. Joe, there's also the toys, but people have also remembered the video games. Do you have any memories of playing the video games over the years?
You know, I didn't play a lot of the video games. It was more of the comic books and a lot of the cartoon and a lot of the toys. So that's sort of where I was.
But the fact that now this is a franchise, you're working on a new movie, are there opportunities there for a video game, do you believe?
So many opportunities for it. Unfortunately, last time we were on such a tight schedule that we couldn't get a video game done properly in time. And then we got pushed a year, so we actually could have got it done. But that's a whole nother story. So we didn't make it, but hopefully this time that we will be ahead of the game a little bit.
What would your vision be if you were in charge of the video game?
If I made the video game, I want to be a ninja, and I want to be fighting other ninjas in some crazy place, and I want to have ninjas be able to like have technology where they can fly in the air and go on buildings, and that would be really fun.
Because it seems like today you still have the action figures, but so much of today's world is all around video games, whether it's mobile or the consoles.
Yeah, I mean, I think the idea that Joe was ahead of its time in that it was the mashup before mashup existed. So there was military guys, and there was ninja guys, and there was a crazy, you know, snake guy. Like all these things were mixed together, and it's such a unique blend. So to have a first-person shooter like Call of Duty or something where you're mixing ninjas in there too, and you have to do hand-to-hand combat, Arashikage style, I think is a really fun mix that would be awesome.
How do you feel video games are influencing movies today, and especially what you've done with this movie?
Well, I think video games are really disrupting storytelling. I think it's great. I think that's a whole nother venue of storytelling. I don't think they compete. I mean, obviously for attention they compete, but in terms of like how you tell a story and how you do a video game is very different. There's, you know, yes, video games are mini stories, but it's a different perspective. The audience is a part of the story itself. When you're watching a movie, you are in the dark watching sort of in a proscenium. So that's why 3D is actually an interesting blend, because you get an immersive experience even though you're not making choices in there. So I think it's a very interesting time, and I can't wait to see how games develop even more so in the future and how more immersive they become.
When it comes to working on this film, how has it prepared you for what you want to do next with this franchise?
I learned a lot. This is my first action movie. It's the first time I worked with big movie stars like Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson and Bruce Willis, and designing a world where there's ninjas and big vehicles that we're spending so. I mean, this is a bigger movie than I've ever done by like 5 times. So I want to put those into practice on the next one. I think we can make the machine better. I think we can make it more exciting. We can make it bigger. I think we can connect all the dots a lot more. We had a big task on this one to set the foundation for what the franchise will be for the next 20 years. And I think we got a lot of that done, and we're not done yet. We have a whole other thing to take it to another level. So,
with so many characters to choose from, how do you go about deciding who's going to be the focal points?
It sort of happens naturally. You know, we write a list of all the characters that we always wanted to see on screen. we check with the fans to see what also and they usually match up pretty well. And then we start developing these characters, and then usually they'll start to fall out, and the more interesting ones will start to rise, and the ones that are not fully necessary we'll just get rid of and save for another day, and it just sort of happens naturally in that way.